Born in the desert in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway roared onto the national stage with its very first major event in September of that year, an IndyCar triumph for Richie Hearn. Just 2 months later, NASCAR made its debut with the Craftsman Truck Series. Before long, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series rolled through in 1997. Wouldn't take long for the Great American Speedway to reach the big leagues. The NASCAR Cup Series arrived in 1999, igniting a legacy that's only grown faster with time. In 2006, LVMS underwent a transformation. The oval was reshaped and the banking, once a modest 12 degrees, was steepened to 20 degrees, with progressive corners that rewarded racers up high. What followed was quicker lap times, bigger battles, and the kind of side-by-side racing NASCAR fans crave. Through the years, the track has been the stage for legends. Kurt Busch still holds one of the fastest Cup Series qualifying records here, an eye-popping 196-plus miles per hour, benchmark that underscores just how lightning quick these machines can be. Las Vegas now hosts not just one, but two NASCAR Cup Series races, the blockbuster Pennzoil 400 in the spring, and the playoff pivotal South Point 400 in the fall. And features top stock car action from O'Reilly Series, Craftsman Trucks, ARCA, and Regional Touring Series. Tonight, it's the PSRA Open ARCA Series Sin City 150. Next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm Steve Singer, joined in the broadcast booth by Chris Goins with Track Limits Network. What's going on, Chris? How are you?
Hey, good evening, Steve. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
A little tired. Been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, but broadcast 2 of the day since I've been back in Rochester, New York. So we're going to get this one over with this evening and maybe try and get some rest before I go out of town again. But never mind all that. That's none of the fun stuff. That's the boring things. Let's take a look at it. Race details for tonight. 100 laps the distance, 150 miles, 70% fuel on board, 4 tire sets available over the wall, no fast repairs, 1 attempt, actually 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. We'll get that straightened out too, but nevertheless, that's where we're at. Nice and cool here under the lights, 71 degrees, 22% humidity, nice and dry. Actually a little cloudy though, 8-mile-per-hour breeze, and track temp also pretty close to that air temperature at 73 degrees. Should provide a little bit of grip and some speed out there tonight, Chris.
Yeah, it definitely will. I think, which will definitely be to the benefit of these drivers, because when it's hot and slidey, as they say, it gets a little scary with these cars.
Fast time so far, Drew Blaze the quickest, the only man under 29 seconds with a 28.967. Jeremiah Holt ran a 29 flat. Will Jones back behind the wheel, 3/1000ths off a 29 flat. Frank Griffith, Corey Bigley, Matt Nicholson, Brian Rose back behind the wheel. Steve Luttrell, David Bradford, Bobby Hamilton Jr., the top 10.
Yeah, Steve, I thought I saw that 89 back on the track there. Caught me by surprise. It's good to see Brian back out here with me.
Brian slowly but surely picking the wheel back up and actually not running too terribly a pace. Again, 7th quick, 29.072, and in open setups on top of that. I don't know if he's working with David and the boys or if he's got something in his back pocket, but hasn't missed much. He's still got the pace that he once had. If you guys don't know who Brian Rose is, he's an old SCAR veteran from back in the day, years ago. It's nice to see him back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, he always talks about how he's missing a beat whenever he's gets back on the track, but doesn't seem like he's lost too much of a step at all, like you mentioned.
Just under 2 minutes left in the practice session. We'll jump right into qualifying immediately thereafter. A couple of stream chatters already. We got Vintage Hiker says, hey, racing family. Mike Fahey 7937 says, bringing it 3 wide, lap 1, Brandon Minnick style. Those that are unaware about Brandon Minnick, he's a Lone Star Racing driver, but also a participant in this series. He's been dealing with some health issues as of late. There'll actually be a benefit race coming up. I believe we're talking the 15th of March. I got to double check. I think it's actually the 19th of March. I've got a flyer that we can post up at some point. I don't have it in there yet because I did all this stuff before I even knew about it, but it'll be broadcasted live here on Track Limits Network. It'll be a Thursday night, and it is indeed going to be the 19th of March. So if you're interested in that information, just stay tuned at Track Limits Network socials. I think ProSim's got it posted as well. Keep an eye out for it. If you can participate, donate, however you want to go about it, please go ahead and do so. About 20 seconds shy of the black and red flags on the practice session. We won't waste any time. It'll be a brief 10 or 15 seconds before we start qualifying. It's the benefits of the digital world. You don't need to cool the cars off. You don't need to roll them back through the garage. You don't need to retech them. You just get out there and go. So, Chris, with this place, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, at least I remember in the trucks, we were able to run wide open around here, but as a lot of people say, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. What's the best way to get around here, at least in qualifying?
Yeah, with these cars, it's a little bit different. There is a little bit of throttle work that goes into it. All my experience is with the fixed setup, so these open setups are a little different, obviously, but these tires tend to wear. Qualifying, it's... you're just blipping the throttle just a hair just to get it to settle in. You're not worried about tire wear at all. You're cranking that wheel to the left just to get it to turn as much as you can. You may see a few of the guys, if it's with these open setups, they may be able to run wide open, but don't expect to see that for the long run in the race.
Will Jones appears to be the first driver to hit the racetrack tonight. In qualifying, we'll take the green flag. Will working the top lane here in lap 1. You think he'll drop that down to the bottom on lap 2, Chris?
Yeah, I think bottom, maybe half a lane up is going to be the fast way around here in these cars. I think he's just trying to get it wound up, get the tires warm here, make a run at that last lap.
Will Jones back to start finish. We'll lock in lap number 1 for the 46 at 29.510. Provisional pole doesn't last long as Ken Couch goes to a 29.48, and then Frank Griffith and Mike Fahey goes P1, 29.37. So lap 2 is going to be quicker, I think, for everybody here. Let's take a look at it here with Jones. Now almost all the way down to the white line here in 3 and 4. Right to the bottom. Will Jones. Back to the top. 29.111 for Will Jones. Quick lap. Justin Johnson in the 10X. 29.849 his first lap. And speaking of Brandon Minnick in the charity race on the 19th, Justin Johnson's the one kind of spearheading all this. Minnick was also very pivotal in a lot of the charity events that Lone Star Racing put on over the years. Fourth quick for Justin, 29.22. Cole Ansley with some new colors this week. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oh, stepping out. Real loose, saving it, washing up the racetrack. That's going to throw away lap 1, and he's going to get plenty of heat in the right rear of that Chevrolet. That was lap 2, 30.103. Not a great run. He's going to have work to do later. David Bradford, third quick with a 184. Two minutes left in the session. Oh, big time loose off turn 4. I don't know if he got a piece of the wall there. And he gets it again. That might invalidate both laps there, Chris.
Yeah, he's looks like he's got an ill handling, or at least on cold tires. So hopefully, once he gets it heat in them during the race, maybe it'll settle back in. Don't be it. Have a long way to go to the front.
Steve Luttrell, 29.322. First lap faster puts him P8. Now Josh Ingram on the Speedway. Brian Rose has yet to roll out in qualifying. Neither has Mark Truxell or Rodney Roberts. They may opt to start from the back. If that is the case, they would line up. The last three would be Roberts, Rose, and Truxell. Last three cars on the grid. Oh, Ingram now in the wall. And of course, with Brian Rose in the race, Eddie Rose is in the chat. Sure looks nice to see the 89 back on the Speedway. Only 30 seconds remain in the session, so those drivers we just spoke about likely not to take time at all. Ingram goes ninth quick, 29:32. So that's likely going to be it for qualifying, as the session is now about to expire time-wise anyway. So that'll do it. That'll put the 88, Drew Blaze, on the pole. Knocked Will Jones off with a 29:09, just narrowly piping by Will Jones. So let's get into it. Our starting grid for the Sin City 150 on the pole position from Lone Star Racing. It's the number 88 with a lap time of 29:085, Drew Blaze. Outside pole, missed it by 25 thousandths of a second, the 46 of Will Jones. Row 2, David Bradford and Frank Griffith. Row number 3, another Lone Star Racing. In fact, a Lone Star Racing pair, Justin Johnson and Mike Fahey. Starting in row 4, Dominic Bettini and Steve Luttrell. Row 5, Josh Ingram and Alan DeFries. 11th starter, the 08, also Lone Star Racing, Ken Couch, Matt Nicholson from Outcast Motorsports. The number 4 will start in the 12th position. 13th starter, Bobby Hamilton Jr. A.J. Rogers, last year's champion, will be to his right elbow in the 14th spot. Jeremiah Holt will start 15th. Keenan Kimber will start 16th. 17th starter, poor qualifying effort for Ansley. It'll be the 86 of Cole Ansley. Jerry Wilson will be 18th. 19th goes to Corey Bigley. Brian Rose from Track Bar Motorsports will start 20th. Mark Truxell from HLC Motorsports 21st. 22nd shotgun on the field, the 11 of Rodney Roberts. Your starting grid here for the Sin City 150. We're going to have one pace lap and one pace lap alone, unless they wave it off before we go racing. Race details again, we'll talk about it. 100 laps the distance, 70% fuel, 4 sets of tires, 0 fast repairs. Ignore the typo, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Weather-wise, nice and cool, 71 degrees, very low humidity, partly cloudy skies. Not that it matters as we're under the lights here tonight. Track temp matches the air at 71. That should provide a little bit more grip, at least once the tires get heated up here. Well, who do you got for a pick there, Chris? We got half a lap to go.
Well, you know, I know everybody tunes in to see him wreck, but I'm going to tune in to see him win tonight. I'm choosing that 19 car, Mike Fahey.
I'm going to go with the 88 of Drew Blaze to pick up another win here. Fast car at the front of the field. These Lone Star Racing boys are motivated here tonight, so I'm going to go with Drew Blaze.
Hey, always a solid choice.
And here we go. Pace car about to make the left turn down into pit lane. Get this thing underway. 100 laps, 150 miles. PSRA Open ARCA Series Sin City 150 is green.
Green flag.
Field halfway down the back straightaway. Drew Blaze with the race lead. Jones in behind Blaze into turn number 3, but he's side by side with his teammate David Bradford. Bradford up a spot if he can get clear of the 46. A little loose on exit. His tire pressure still needing to come up. Across the start-finish line, Blaze will lead lap number 1. Frank Griffith making moves already. 2 positions gained. Goes around the outside on Will Jones. Not bashful about waiting for tire temps in the 54. Had a run off turn number 4, but slams the door, does Drew Blaze. Frank Griffith goes to the outside. Sticks the nose into the race lead. Can he get clear of Blaze off turn number 4? So Frank Griffith now to the lead. Fast right out of the gate. Just ran the fastest lap of the race. I know we're only 3 complete here. 29:20 out of the 54. Battle behind him now. Will Jones up to second. Blaze falling back a little bit. David Bradford going to go around the outside for the 3rd position. Steve Luttrell going to try and follow him on through. Likely 2 very distinct setups here, Chris. You got to wonder if Drew Blaze just had a lights-out qualifying setup and maybe just a long-run car here in the race.
Well, you know, Drew's always notorious for doing that type of thing, just taking it easy, let the other guys do what they're going to do anyway. I think part of it was he kind of got stuck on the bottom. Here, you can get a lot of speed, like you saw the 54, just use that power a lot of speed up on the high side. Doesn't bode well for longevity on that right rear, because with these cars it does put a lot of pressure on that right rear when you do that, so tends to free the car up quite a bit towards the end of the run. I think Drew's trying to avoid some of that and just looking to kind of maintain and ride in place right now.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to fight off the advances from, it looks like, Corey Bigley, the 28 machine. That's maybe the wrong paint scheme. I think that's Corey Bigley behind him. Indeed it is. Corey Bigley shown in the 28 car, but should be the 58. So in case you guys are wondering, who's that guy? Well, that's Corey Bigley in the 28. AJ Rogers with a new scheme this week. Same sponsor, but a flashy scheme. I kind of like that.
Yeah, definitely a sharp-looking, unique paint on that car this week.
Meanwhile, Brian Rose tore up from the floor up. In trouble already here. 6.5 laps in. Brian Rose, big-time problems. We'll go back quickly and take a look what happened to the 89 machine. I'll have to back this up a little further because he's already slow at the bottom of the racetrack. We did not catch a caution for this. Terry Wilson. I hate to say this, Chris, but we've seen this a lot this season. Terry Wilson involved in another incident, taking out another competitor. I know it's not intentional. Oof, hard hit for Brian.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a tough one. Looks like Terry just wanted to turn into that corner a little bit earlier than maybe he was anticipating Brian not being there, and just you hook him and get him in the wall like that. That's a night ender.
Ken Couch has had a similar incident. Let's see what happened to the 08. He has a mechanical black flag as well as Brian Rose. We'll see what happened here to Ken. Ken in the 08, that black, blue, and white Ford Mustang. Oh, Alan DeFries caught the wall on exit, bounced off, and gets into Couch. They both slide through the grass, and that doesn't bring out a caution either. They're well off the racetrack.
I'm surprised that one didn't bring it the way that Ken slid back up on the racing turf.
Well, if there's no traffic coming, I think he can get away with it. A lot of it's calculated in the iRacing algorithm based on the delta of the approaching cars. If there's nobody there behind him at that point, he's not going to bring out the yellow. Meanwhile, Will Jones on the attack again, right to the back bumper of Frank Griffith. Now a car length and a half, maybe 2 back from the 54. Frank's got a strong run going here early at Vegas.
Yeah, he's definitely got some speed in that 54 car. And we'll see what he can do as far as tire management. You see him kind of running the bottom here now. He took Drew on that high side there.
Oh, Frank in the wall, gets into Will Jones. Sends Will down through the grass. Dirt tracking it through. I think Will's got some right front damage there, but how bad is it?
I think it's pretty substantial aero damage for sure. hopefully he's able to get that fixed, maybe under a caution if we get one, or just little by little during the pit stop.
Let's go back, take another look at it. Frank just pounds the outside wall. Real tight on exit. Unfortunately for Will, he's going to take the brunt of this here, and Frank's going to drive away. So Frank is settled into the 7th position now. I don't see any considerable damage on the 54. He may be okay, but Will Jones has got to be pounding the steering wheel right now.
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Steve. As the run goes on, you know, you're out of the throttle a lot more than you realize here. Tight, as worn out as these tires get. So I think probably what happened there, you know, just misjudged that exit with these older tires and pushed right up into it. And like you said, collected Will there, who's continuing his streak of bad luck.
You know, it could be a combination of that or just pushing too hard too early. You saw Will Jones coming. Obviously, he was fast in those first handful of laps, was able to drive around those guys on the outside. Car stuck, no problem. But the same token there, Chris, corner exit, if it starts to push up like it was, you lift a little bit, you load that right front back up. Yes, you run the risk of getting a little bit loose, but it is going to at least turn on you.
Yep, and you live to fight another day.
Matt Nicholson with new colors on board his number 4 machine. So through all that exchange, David Bradford took over the top spot. And behind him, the battle for second, Drew Blaze coming back on strong. Talked about this a bunch. Drew's known for taking care of the car early, getting settled in, then going to the whip when it's time. Again, being an open setup league, they also could build that into the setups of these cars to be a handful early and then come in nice and tight grip-wise later on. He's right to the back bumper there, David Bradford. He may have something for him here.
Saw these two kind of duking it out last week, a week ago, at Texas, and so he just carrying it over to Vegas.
Even Watkins Glen, Drew Blaze coming out on top with that in the last lap with David Bradford losing the race car in the bus stop on the final lap. Was unable to make the challenge. We thought David may have something for him. It was not meant to be. These guys have been battling quite a bit this season.
Yep, and they battle hard, but they battle fair. So as Drew's looking to the inside here.
19 laps in here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. David Bradford still with the lead, but for how long? Also, Drew Blaze got to keep an eye on that rearview mirror because Steve Luttrell, he is keeping pace with these top two, and he seems to have a pretty fast race car right now. In fact, the last lap, he's faster than the top two. Meanwhile, something amiss with Frank Griffith. He is in pit lane with a black flag and damage.
Looks like maybe he caught the wall again and finally damaged that right front.
That or that initial contact, just finally something broke. Hard to get a good look at it. Yeah, that right front's pushed in pretty bad. Right front obviously wasn't spinning the way we needed it to. So Bradford now able to put some distance on Drew Blaze. 3 car lengths back to the 88. Ken Couch in the chat. Too much damage. Halen DeFreeze got the wall and then got into him, and unfortunately, it might be day done for Ken Couch. I'm just amazed here, Chris. These top three have really separated themselves from fourth place and on back. Justin Johnson in a heavy battle here with teammate Mike Fahey. Corey Bigley's going to go around them both on the bottom, possibly. Off turn number 4. Fahey stays tucked up to the back bumper. And the 49 and Dominic Bettini also in this mix. This is 4th through 7th.
Yeah, keep an eye on Bigley there in the 28/58. He, he's the one that had some issues in qualifying. He's already up 15 spots up to the 4th spot. So he's obviously got a fast race car. Just had some bad luck there in qualifying. He'll be there at the end, I'm sure.
These intermediate tracks, we typically see Bigley run quite well at them, especially later on in the run. So he's absolutely going to be a contender as long as he keep it out of the wall and stay out of trouble. Should be there in the end, especially if we catch caution and get these guys all packed back up. I'd love to see how Bradford, Luttrell, Blaze can handle Bigley being in that mix. Oh, Bigley scrapes the wall a bit there off 4. Well, they're not bashful about using every inch of the racetrack, are they? And then
no,
some.
they are not. Absolutely.
On board with Dominic Bettini. Oh, close quarters. Oh, little side draft there, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Big crash.
Oh, trouble.
I think it was trying to slow him down.
Keenan Kimber, a problem for the 65. Also a little connection issue that may have been part of it. Not sure. I don't see a whole lot of damage on that car, though.
I don't know. It doesn't look like he's getting up to speed, though, does it?
Yeah, Chris, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if he's going to come around and pit this time. It doesn't look like he's fully under power.
Well, let's look what happened. We got a replay here. Oh, loose. Real loose.
No, I guess he didn't hit anything. So that is one thing I found out about these ARCA cars here at Vegas is they do, like we mentioned, put that a lot of pressure there on that right rear, so it actually wears it out pretty well.
So caution number 1 on the evening prior to the pit stops. 28 laps in, David Bradford leads. We've had 1 caution and 2 lead changes officially at the line to this point. Pit road will be open, I believe, this time by. And we have some takers here, Chris. I think everybody's going to take this opportunity, I would assume.
Yeah, I think this late in the run, you're likely to just see everybody taking 4.
And again, 4 sets of tires. They don't need to be real conservative with saving tires. Break that across 100 laps. You can pretty much put a fresh set on every time. There you have it. Looks like everybody's going 4 with maybe an exception. What did Corey Bigley do? No, he just got out quick. David Bradford's still going to win the race off pit road, though. So at 70% fuel, Chris, I'm not sure what the actual lap window is, but doesn't matter now. We got the caution and the opportunity to come down and start fresh. Maybe we'll get to a green flag stop at some point.
Yeah, I think it looked like it had a very good potential of going green. So I think we'll see at least one set of green flag stops tonight. I think they'll have to pit it probably at least 2 more times based on that number. So we'll see if there's any strategy play there, or if it's just kind of a straightforward race from on out.
So the pace car lights go out, puts us on the 1 to go signal. So next time by, we'll be racing again. It'll be lap 30 when we take the green. Terry Wilson stayed out as he's a lap down. He's back in pit lane now. Chris, I see old Mark Truxell sneaking up there in the 10th or 11th spot and is kind of biding his time. He started right near the back, I think 21st, second to last. Ken Couch in the chat lets us know it's 35 laps is the window, so we'll say at 33. It's a 36 and a half. How about that?
Okay. But going back to the Truxell thing, it's just classic Mark, just biding his time, hoping to work his way up through there and keep his car clean and just be there at the end. He usually, more times than not, is.
He's won races with this group of guys, not necessarily in the ProSim Open ARCA series, but back when it was SCAR and they ran the trucks. He was a winner in that series.
Green flag, green flag.
David with a really good jump on the restart, and Bigley will take full advantage of the outside lane being at a disadvantage, but now Blaze switches it up. He'll look to the inside as Bigley goes to the top. Good arc down into turn 3. Side-by-side battle behind him with Luttrell and Drew Blaze. Bradford continues to lead, but man, Steve Luttrell looking real fast in there behind him. Corey Bigley in third. Now the battle behind them with Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey, 2 Lone Star Racing teammates, but they're going to battle it out cleanly, but they're going to battle.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there. I'm talking about the 36 as he's looking outside of Bradford for the lead here. But watching him come up through there, he has a ton of speed. Good to see him up there racing with you guys.
Luttrell makes a move to the outside, has a whale of a run, and just drives around the top. Takes the race lead away from David Bradford. What a power move by the 36. Great battle in here in mid-pack. You got Mike Fahey and Bobby Hamilton Jr. now to the outside. Then Cole Ansley, Dominic Bettini, A.J. Rogers, and Nicholson. Up ahead, big push from Jeremiah Holt to the back bumper of Corey Bigley. Sends him down into turn 3 with a bit of a run. Almost too far down, almost clipped the apron. That could have been disastrous, but he got away with it. Bobby Jr. now up the racetrack, trying to work on that top lane. A little loose up there, it seems. Back the race car starting to step out, at least off of turn number 2. Now with Ansley in behind, it could compound that problem.
Yeah, in my experience there, right there at the wall where Bobby Jr. was there in 1 and 2 last lap, car hand, kind of where Colt's running right now is about the highest you really want to be, kind of middle of the track. Right there at the wall, though, is with all the marbles and stuff up there, it gets really treacherous.
Everybody tightened up here. Bobby to the back bumper and Jeremiah Holt through turn 4. Loose on exit, even in that middle lane, even with a car in front. He's got that thing set up really loose there, Chris. I wonder if he's got that set for the long run. Maybe it's going to tighten up for him, but you were talking about how that right rear tire in these ARCA cars tends to get hot and wore out later on in the run. That could be worse off for the 25.
Yeah, that's what I was sitting here thinking. If he's this loose in traffic, I can imagine what it would be like out in front and with worn right side tires. So we'll see. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve that I'm not familiar with that we don't know about, but I'm curious to see if he's able to get free of everything and see what the handling of that race car looks like in the long run.
We're going to need to go another 20, 23 laps to make it another round of green flag stops. As loose as some of these guys are, I just don't know if it's going to happen. Steve Luttrell continues to lead over David Bradford, Drew Blaze, Corey Bigley, Cole Ansley. It's the battle just behind 6th place. A.J. Rogers and Jeremiah Holt as they battle for position. Oh, Nicholson real fast off turn 4. He was lucky not to catch the wall. I got to tell you, Chris, these guys are really putting on a show here, mid-pack and further.
Yeah, as tight as this pack is, it's really cool to see the car control that these guys do have.
Oh, Kimber in the fence. We'll go on board with Bobby Jr. Tell you, Chris, he's really trying to run that top lane in.
Yeah, he's not giving up on it. I mean, I wonder if he's got his car set up for that, specifically, and maybe the way it's set up, it's just too loose on the bottom, and it wants to come around. The more he cranks that wheel in, the more it wants to come around. So, it's quite a vast difference from what we're seeing everybody else do in terms of kind of hugging that bottom, but. Nice to see him be able to do it, and maybe he can make up some time here on this front pack.
It's up to 7th, but are you more inclined to burn the right front being way up the racetrack, or is that more of a low side thing?
The right front is more, to me, has always been more of a low side thing. The right rear definitely kind of middle up in the corners, especially here, and with these cars from what I've run. I was running mid to high and noticed it getting extra wear on that right rear. I actually burned the right rear more than the right front, which is unheard of for me with the way that I drive. So think he's going to put that extra pressure on that right rear, and these guys may be burning up the right front more, being on the bottom. So we'll see if it evens out.
Caution, caution.
Caution on the Speedway.
Kind of walk me through a lap here, please.
Not sure what we've got going on here. I don't see, is it... Oh, there, Nicholson. Big time damage to the Ford machine, and it looks like he's not the only one. Josh Ingram a little tore up as well. It's not going to turn real well.
Yeah, if you're trying to turn left and that tire's pointed to the right, that's usually a problem.
Here's what we got. Ingram get into this. Oh, Kimber in there too. Gets a big piece there. And it all rips the nose off after the fact. Back this up further. Definitely contact between these two. Got Keenan Kimber in the 65 to the outside, and Nicholson's just coming up the racetrack. Kimber had such a run. I don't know if Matt saw him coming. Thought he had room to go up. Open the wheel. Not to be.
Yeah, with how quickly that 4-car kind of pushed up the track, I think he just got really tight on the bottom because he was coming out of that turn kind of early.
Another round of pit stops. As we expected, we did not get to that green flag stop. Still have a chance for it. Only 47 laps in. So David Bradford wins the race off pit lane. Then it's Steve Luttrell, Drew Blaze, Cole Ansley, Corey Bigley, the top 5. I don't think anybody's playing any games right now. Everybody 4 tires and fuel yet again. .35 laps, about the distance on a tank of fuel. We had the caution at lap 28, or first or yellow flag stops at 28. We made it 19 this time. Big jump for Corey Bigley on the night. Remember, he started 19th. Pace car lights go out on the 1 to go. We'll get the restart lap 49. Bradford's going to opt for the top on the restart. Pace car heads to pit lane.
Green.
Another good jump by the 13 of David Bradford. Side-by-side battle behind with Luttrell and Ansley. Ansley up top in the O'Reilly Auto Parts number 86. Ansley may have a run here. He seems to have some pace now that he's up towards the front. Only 1 car ahead of him, David Bradford at the stripe, just past halfway here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to step aside, get our side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a minute of the action. We'll be right back. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 58 laps just about to be complete as Bradford leads over Steve Luttrell and Colt Ansley. Luttrell went around the 86 while we were away. Corey Bigley, Bobby Jr., the top five. Bobby seems to be okay, maybe adjusting to that setup or maybe making adjustments on the pit stops. Is there going to be three wide here off turn number 2 with Drew Blaze in the middle? The 88 Ford Mustang of Drew Blaze getting skinny in the middle of that 3 wide off turn number 2. Picks up a spot from A.J. Rogers, now trying to take it away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. And he does it. Picks up a couple spots in just about a lap. So Blaze back on the charge towards the front. Blaze running up the back of Corey Bigley. Bigley was a little slower on entry, maybe backed up the corner a bit more than Blaze has been.
Yeah, I think it's with one more stop looming. I think it's getting to the point now where Drew is deciding it's time to go. So I think you're seeing him start to drive it in a little bit further there in the corners and be a little more aggressive.
Just as we went away, I believe Terry Wilson had another moment on the racetrack. Let's go take a quick look at that, see what happened to the 3 machine. Was this coming out of pit lane, Chris? I believe it was. Or did he just stop? He just stops. Top 2, that battle hasn't changed much, but behind him, Colt Ansley and Bigley still side by side. Ansley in the 86, Bigley in the 28. Ignore the number on the door. It's really the 58 in the timing tower in case you're just joining us. Looks like Bigley's got the wrong scheme on tonight. Man, Chris, Bobby Jr. still loose out of turn 4. I don't know how he's hanging on to that thing.
Yeah, I just saw that too. Right as you said something, I saw it step out. I'm impressed with his ability to keep it up there and run it like he has been. Not everybody has that kind of car control.
Lap times for our top 2, a 29.79 for Bradford and an 80 for Luttrell. These guys are extremely evenly matched right now. Steve's really trying to find a way around that Crown Apple Toyota Camry and David Bradford as they roll through turns 1 and 2. Got ourselves a pretty good race here, Chris Goins.
Yeah, these top 4 are flying here. Colt and Corey have kind of caught the top 2 there and can make a race of it. As you know, with Drew coming up, if he can get through some of these guys, as these guys are running tight right here. These guys can get clear. Maybe they can run them down. But there's just good racing all over the place.
I think Blaze wants to get back towards at least the middle, if not the top. Seems he's pinned down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's lost a lot of ground for Bobby Hamilton Jr., who's up to 5th, with Blaze battling to hang on to the 6th spot there with A.J. Rogers to the outside.
Yeah, and speaking of Bobby Jr., he is the fastest car on the track right now. So he's caught those other guys. Actually, he's already passed the 86.
Oh, big wiggle off 2 again for Bobby Jr. Loose is fast, and it's loose.
Yep, that 86 pushed that air, took that air off the spoiler, got him a little bit loose, but I think you'll see him settle back in and run those guys back down again.
Talked about that quite a bit with this ARCA cars. You can get up underneath the guy like that and take the air off that rear spoiler, especially when you're set up the way the 25 is, already loose all by his lonesome. You get that air packed on the back bumper. None of that downforce getting applied. It gets real loose, and he's slipping and sliding again. How many laps is he going to be able to get away with that before he burns that right rear tire off?
I don't know. It's got to be getting close to that threshold, I think.
Just about 22 laps since our last pit stop. Still got a ways to go. I think it was 35 on a tank of fuel. If they could make it that far, it would be ideal if they could set it up for a green flag stop here at the end. You get those guys that are really good getting in and out of pit lane under green flag conditions. It could really give them some track position, get out ahead of guys, make some passes in that cycle versus out on the racetrack. Drew now up to the top of the racetrack. Finally got clear of A.J. Rogers, but he's got Jeremiah Holt now on the bottom to contend with. Drew just can't catch a break right now. He's continually battling with somebody, whether it's A.J. or Jeremiah or even Justin Johnson or Mike Fahey. These guys are all kind of packed up together, and as they fight it out, that lead pack really starting to step away from them.
Yeah, that front pack's 2 to 3 tenths faster a lap by not racing side by side. So they're just going to continue to pull that.
Well, that's what I'm seeing the most here, Chris, is this pack that we're watching now. They've been running side by side for the majority of the time. You look at these guys up front; they've been running single file and kind of picking and choosing. All right, I got to run here. Let me try and see what I can do with it. And oh, no, that didn't work. I'm going to tuck back in, run behind them a couple more laps, set up another pass. I mean, they're doing this while putting distance on everybody else. Meanwhile, Colt Ansley in pit lane. I don't know if it was by design or not, or if he locked it up, but here he is in pit lane. He knows he can make it to the end from here. He's been known to do some strategy plays in these races to try and give himself a shot. We say it all the time. If you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader. But if you're going to try a play, you can't make mistakes. And it looked like we've just seen 2 out of the 86.
Yeah, I think it was a scheduled stop by the looks of it. Looks like he was coming down as he took 2 to try and make up some of that time that he lost, but I think he just got in a little too hot and looped it.
Mark Truxell now in the pit lane as well. Leaders stay out. David Bradford still in the lead. 4-tire change for Truxell. So Colt has gone down a lap in that exchange.
I don't know if the 58 was trying to tell, but I think he may be coming in the pits too with Bradford.
David Bradford, Corey Bigley, Bobby Hamilton Jr. all on pit lane. So green flag stops, a little premature, but again, if you're within the window, you can kind of come down whenever you're ready. 25 laps to go. This would certainly give them enough fuel if we had to deal with a green-white checkered situation. Bradford's going 4. So is Bobby. Big lead down and away. He went with 4 as well. He's going to win the race off pit road. Or is he? Nope, Bradford beat him out. Jeremiah Holt, A.J. Rogers, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson, now they're in the pits for their final stops. Now Luttrell and Blaze will do the same. So I think Colt's going to be able to cycle back around, at least get his lap back. I just don't think he's going to get as much of a track position gain with those mistakes coming to pit lane. And then overshooting the box. Drew Blaze, 2-tire stop, 10.2 seconds. Fast driver. Going with some strategy here with the tires. Gets out with Steve Luttrell.
I see he uses the pit exit kind of like I do. I try to get as close to that wall as I can to try and shorten it up. But we see this from Drew a lot with these 2 tires. He's really good on them. If you can make him work, that may make sense as to why he was falling back a little bit, taking it easy on the left side to try and make up some time there on the 2-tire stop on the right. So see how it works out for him.
22 to go. Blaze cycles back to 3rd. Steve Luttrell 2nd. And David Bradford was able to work his way back up front. You got to wonder if Drew just kind of fell back a little bit too far. Yes, he gained a bunch of positions here and gets himself up into P3, but Bradford and Luttrell out there with 4 fresh tires. We don't know how beneficial rights only are going to be, but if anybody knows, it's probably the driver, that number 88, and Drew Blaze. Typically, though, I wouldn't be shocked to see David Bradford do the same in certain circumstances. Granted, he does have the pace here tonight, so maybe he's not in a position where he has to, and he can afford the 4.
Well, I do know that 2 tires does work with a fixed setup. I don't know about the open, but I won a race in the ARCA car a couple weeks ago at Vegas on 2 tire strategy. So it drove really well and didn't lose any pace. So I think Drew might be in a good position to get himself a good finish.
Litmus test for it. Luttrell just ran a 29.29. So did Drew Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them faster than the leader, David Bradford. Now, Chris, Justin Johnson went with maybe fuel only. It was a 9.6 second stop. Everybody else that went 2 there, I think they were over 10 seconds, not by a lot. So is it a chance he just had a lightning quick pit stop and put rights on?
Yeah, I would guess so. Maybe he didn't have quite as much fuel burn being there, stuck kind of behind everybody. Maybe he was more off throttle time because the car being a little tight. So it's a possibility he just didn't have as much fuel to put in the car there. So he will. I can't imagine him being as quick as he is right now. I mean, just ran a 29.1, and which is actually faster than the leaders without taking tires. I'm sorry, 29.5.
Cole Ansley did not get that lap back. Shown in the 12th position, first car 1 lap down. Would love to see a caution. Get back on the lead lap. And with that few cars on the lead lap, he'd still be in contention. I think Colt may have had another problem. Let's go back to it. Yes, he did. Spun off turn 4.
He got inside that commitment cone too, so he may have got a black flag for that.
Didn't see it pop up. They might have cleared it for him because that's
Okay, yeah, that's true.
it's something they would clear. It's not like he was speeding intentionally. He didn't even stop in the pit. So just a spin there, that's enough of a penalty as it is. Battle for the lead shaping up again. Luttrell still in the tire tracks of David Bradford. David just cannot shake that 36, but at the same token, I don't know if Luttrell's got enough to make the pass. Chris, I don't want to say it, but Blaze has caught these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still running a tenth a lap faster than the top 2.
Yeah, he's definitely going to make himself known here before the end of it.
Blaze takes a look to the bottom.
I wouldn't be surprised as he gets, closer to these guys up here. If he starts searching around for a line here, you may start to see him move up, middle to the high side of the track as he starts to get closer.
Ten to go from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Sin City 150 PSRA Open ARCA Series. David Bradford, pretty dominant here tonight. Started third. He's led a ton of laps. Steve Luttrell has led a couple as himself, but he's been right in the tire tracks of Bradford most of the evening, matching lap times. Just cannot find that extra power, that extra boost to get on by the 13. Maybe he's waiting for later, knowing that Bradford's probably going to have a counter to something that he may have in mind. Get a couple of tricks up his sleeve to get it done. Taking a look at the timing. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, you see Drew kind of dropping back a little bit. I wonder if he's, kind of feeling the effects on those left sides, running the bottom. I'm surprised we haven't seen him moving around. I think he's going to have to move around a little bit to be able to get a good enough run there.
8 laps to go. You see the drivers that have made the biggest moves so far. Obviously, Corey Bigley with a poor qualifying effort. It's almost a moot point because we expected him to be higher up in the starting order, but 15 positions gained. Started 19th out of 22 cars. 21 technically. Rodney Roberts, I don't believe, actually took the green flag here tonight. But a big name I want to talk about, Mark Truxell. Notorious for starting at the back. Likes to slowly work his way through, let some of the chaos unfold, the adrenaline cool off, and slowly work his way through. Finds himself in 11th. Now 11th. 10 positions gained. He was battling there with Justin Johnson for that position. We see that right here. Johnson taking at least maybe right sides, if not fuel only, versus Truxell, who took rights. No, Truxell took 4 tires and fuel. Truxell now back into the top 10. Five to go for race leader David Bradford. I don't know, Chris, is there anything Steve can do here short of driving it in deeper and kind of rooting David up the racetrack?
It doesn't seem like it. It seems like they're really evenly matched. So unless David has a little bit of a bobble there, in the middle of a corner, or like you said, if Steve can get him close enough to him to give him a little bit of a bump there, or close enough to get the air off of him, I don't know.
Lap before,
he drove it in on the bottom.
Lap before, Luttrell was only 200ths quicker. This time he's faster still. No, Bradford takes it back. He runs a 29.94 to Luttrell's 96. So evenly matched. That is the key phrase there, Chris. I just don't think whoever's going to be in front with the clean air, they're going to dominate this here. They're not going to be able to make that move to pass the leader when they're that close together. Coming to 3 laps to go. I don't know if we're going to see desperation out of Luttrell or if he's just going to hang on to that second spot, take the points, and move on to next week.
Yeah, David's doing a good job of aero blocking, too. He's kind of figuring out and putting it where he's able to block Steven's clean air, and that way Steve just cannot get the power down and car just pushes. So David's doing a heck of a job here.
Coming to 2 to go. Bradford will take another lap led. Now car length and a half back to the 36. How frustrating is it, Chris, to be the driver in second spot, knowing you're just as fast as that guy? It's like, man, if I could just be the leader, I'd be okay.
It definitely can get frustrating, especially if you know that the guy in front is kind of aero blocking you. You just want to get there to his bumper just to give him a little bit of a nudge. As you see him getting really close here off the pole.
Here we go, last lap. Makes the move. There was real loose for Bradford off in turn number 4, coming to the white flag, and Luttrell now got the opportunity. David drives it deep through turns 1 and 2 up the racetrack. Manages to take the lead back and get clear. Now swaps down to the low side of the racetrack. I think that was the opportunity that Luttrell needed, but it just wasn't enough. They're through 3 and 4 for the final time. David Bradford with a big wiggle again off turn number 4. Coming down to the line, checkered flag waves, and David Bradford wins it at Vegas.
Wow, that was a heck of a run there. Bradford holding on to it there.
David Bradford picking up the win. Luttrell comes home second, and Drew Blaze, with some tire strategy, gets him the track position and a top 3 finish. David Bradford leading 71 of 100 laps here tonight. Talk about dominance. Well, we're in Vegas. A lot of guys like to gamble. David Bradford put it all on black from the drop of the green flag, and it paid off. We're going to step out. Going to break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 after this. Stay with us. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Sin City 150 in the books, and David Bradford picking up the win in dominant fashion, leading 71 laps en route to victory. Let's see if we can get a word with the driver, number 13. David Bradford, Steve and Chris with Track Limits. You got us?
Yes, sir.
David, congratulations, man. Strong run tonight. Third place start. Very quickly put the Crown Apple Camry in the wind in the race lead. 71 laps led tonight. What was the real difference maker? Steve Luttrell seemed to match pace with you pretty well, just didn't quite have enough to make the moves at the end. Was the clean air the big difference?
I think so, man. Really, we focused more on handling than speed. We're pretty well figuring out. I think everybody's figuring out with these ARCA cars. As long as you got something 2-3 within tenths of, the fast one, the draft will kind of take care of itself. You just got to keep the car turning and keep the tires on it. And, I'm glad everybody's figuring it out, especially Steve, man. He was struggling for a couple weeks there. I was helping him with some sets, but really seems like he's coming around. And, I mean, really, when you look at the start of the season to now, the running order's kind of flipped a little bit. Steve and those guys have started coming to the front. Drew and his guys have started coming towards the front. They're doing an awesome job, and they're working hard at it.
Certainly good to see. A job well done here tonight, picking up yet another win on this season as we look forward to the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware. Obviously, handling going to be a premium there. A lot less room, lots of banking, even on the straightaways. What is the game plan? How do you prepare yourself, not just setup-wise, but mentally for Dover, Delaware?
Well, last time I was there, I was outside pulling. My teammate ran me in the wall off turn 1 on the first lap. So I don't have a game plan. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of lost now.
Fair enough. David, congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Of course, all these guys we're racing with, man. Justin Johnson, I see him getting better every week. I mean, I just see a slew of guys getting better every week. I mean, Frank even got up there, led a couple laps, and, he got in the wall and ended up getting into a wheel a little bit. But, he's getting faster every week. Bigley's getting faster every week. People are just really coming around. Bobby got his first top 5 in a while. So, everybody's figuring it out and making good runs out of it, and the races are staying green for the most part. I think that'll attract some more people.
Getting better and better. Looking forward to more of the same. David, congrats again, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week in Dover.
Thanks, guys.
David Bradford, race winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next we'll talk to Stephen Luttrell, runner-up here tonight. Started in the 8th position, drove it up to P2, led some laps even. Let's get a word with the driver of that number 36 machine. Steve, it's Steve and Chris in the Track Limits booth. You got us?
I do. What's going on?
Steve, congratulations, man. Job well done here tonight. 8th place start, led some laps. Had an opportunity, a couple of them, it seemed, there in the latter stages of the race with a couple of laps. Really, the white flag coming to the white flag lap. You and David seem so evenly matched. What could you have done different? We know you're not the type of guy that's just going to go in there and dump them, but you had an opportunity coming to the white, got alongside. What was the real difference there?
Yeah, I saw him kind of get loose and tap the wall out there coming out of 4. And I had such a run that I just had to go to the inside and try to make it stick. I pretty much knew that he had the outside groove. He was going to get it, but I had to give it a try there. I was running behind him for so many laps, and he was just running in the exact line that I needed, and I'd get caught in his wake, and it would push out of 4 real bad, so I'd have to get out of the throttle. I just couldn't get a run on him out of 4 the way I wanted to. But yeah, I'm not going to go in there and dump somebody for any position. So yeah, just hard racing. It was a lot of fun though, tons of fun.
Guys certainly made it look good. It was fun to watch from our perspective. Now we move to Dover, Delaware next week. Tight racetrack, fast racetrack, 150 laps around the Monster Mile. What's the game plan next week? Mentally, setup-wise, how do you approach that place?
Well, that place is tricky to set up because you can be tight on entry, so you loosen the car up, but the exits of the corners flatten out so hard that it just slings you to the outside of the track. So that track's a hard track to get a setup for. But I think next week is going to be survival and just keep up. Not be the fastest, but just be able to survive the race. I think is going to be key to next week.
Well, Steve, it was a job well done here tonight. Runner-up, so close, not quite a win, but still an impressive performance. Who do you want to shout out to?
Oh, I always got to shout out my mom, my dad, my wife, and my kids, my brothers, all my family. And anybody that's out there in the YouTube world right now watching, thank you for coming and watching the racing.
All right, Steve. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you. We'll see you.
Steve Luttrell, runner-up here at Las Vegas. We're going to talk to the driver, the number 88. It's my pick tonight. Good finish. Just didn't pick up the win. We'll see what he has to say with his strategy tonight. It definitely helped him. Didn't get him the win, but it was still a track position gain. Drew, it's Steve and Chris in the booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Drew, congratulations, man. Awesome run in qualifying. Finished P3. Late decision to put 2 tires on, or was that kind of the foregone conclusion before that final pit stop?
That was just a planned conclusion before that pit stop. I really was not happy with how the car was reacting in traffic. So I felt like putting the right sides on might help us loosen up just a little bit more, and it still didn't seem like it was enough. We were just built a little bit too tight, couldn't get the rear to come around on the car, so just didn't hit it on the setup.
First handful of laps after that final pit stop, you were pretty close to the same pace as the race leaders. It was just a matter of it didn't stick long enough for you to make it all the way back up there.
Yeah, it didn't stick long enough, and it's a learning situation for me, just building these setups and really figuring out these type of tracks where you're really hammered out a lot and in traffic. So yeah, we'll just take that as a learning experience and go back to the drawing board.
Dover, Delaware next week, a completely different monster, pun intended. How do you and the Lone Star Racing boys approach that place next week?
Yeah, it's definitely a tire eating track, so we're going to make sure we get a solid base down and build a fast car and see if we can even out the tires pretty good. And again, just do more practice with the cars around me, so we're prepared for that.
All right, Drew. Well, congratulations. 3rd place finish here tonight, man. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yep, just got to shout out all my boys over at Lone Star Racing, Dad Boss Studios. Justin especially, for everything he does. He definitely bears a lot of the weight and does a lot of the back end stuff. So shout out to him, and just Mike and Ken, and shout out to Brandon. He's going through some health stuff, so we hope to have him back in working order soon. And yeah, thank you for putting on the broadcast, you and Chris here. Y'all done a great job.
All right, Drew, thanks for the kind words, man, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon, man. Good luck next week in Dover.
Absolutely, thank you.
Drew Blaze, 3rd place finisher here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That'll do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. What a race we had here tonight, Chris. A little bit of everything. We saw battles near the front, a lot of good racing mid-pack. It was kind of all over the place, and not a whole lot of cautions either. This thing got done in a hurry with a lot of good racing.
Yeah, Steve, these guys always put on a really great show. Just watching, eating the doors off each other, but doing it cleanly. It's just incredible to watch these guys progress each week. And I look forward to seeing how they tackle those high banks at Dover next week.
Yeah, Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. That one is going to be, it could go either way. It could be a complete disaster because the place is tough. That's the reason they call it the Monster, but it also could turn into a really good race. It's hard to get around the place. It's even harder to make passes, and things happen in a hurry. But with that said, let's get to our race results. We'll worry about next week. We talked to David Bradford, Steve Luttrell, Drew Blaze. Those were your top 3 finishers. Corey Bigley looking strong tonight, deep in the field to start, finishes in 4th. Bobby Jr., I don't know if he just put ice out there to drive on. That thing was loose all over the racetrack, but it was fast. Finishes P5. Jeremiah Holt was 6th. Mike Fahey was 7th. 8th place, Dominic Bettini. A.J. Rogers comes home in 9th. And another solid top 10 for Mark Truxell. In the 10th spot, Justin Johnson was 11th. Cole Ansley, after a couple of miscues, he'll finish 12th. Terry Wilson was 13th. Matt Nicholson came home in the 14th spot. Josh Ingram, 15th. Keenan Kimber comes home in the 16th position. 17th went to Frank Griffith. Will Jones, again, contact from Frank Griffith early on in the race. He gets some damage that he just couldn't recover from. He'll finish 18th, 86 laps down. Ken Couch was 19th. Alan DeFries, 20th. Brian Rose, an early wreck as well. 21st and 93 down. And Rodney Roberts will credit himself with 22nd, though I don't believe he ever took the green flag, as he is shown as 100 laps down. It's going to do it for us here tonight at Track Limits Network. Chris, thank you again for joining us here in the broadcast booth. We're doing a little alternate between him, Chris Goins and Zach Millett based on work schedules and things like that. I think we've got Zach back next week for 2 races, and then we'll swap back to Goins, or maybe have all 3 at one point. I'm down for that either, but whatever works. Thank you guys for tuning in here this evening, and we'll see you next week at Dover. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.